1450 Go.
Hello there, this is Jeff Gilbert, 729. You realize St. Patrick's Day is the day after tomorrow? I know a woman who makes great Irish food. Every time I eat it, I turn green.
WWGO 1450 Go.
Information about it.
Back in time! Talk about a good shower song. Sing along with that one. Kind of clear out your lungs, can't you?
Look out, old back is back.
Quinn 1260 and Bobby Darin. Good afternoon, this is Jeff Gilbert. 8 minutes after 1 o'clock.
It's the Grand Ole Opry Weekend Celebration, exclusively on WEEP Pittsburgh. Hi, this is Jeff Gilbert at 3 o'clock, and here's Donna Fargo.
You know, I've always...
It was to have been a day of ruffles and flourishes in Washington, but despite the high point of the most expensive inaugural ever, it became a day of church bells. The hostages have been released. As midnight approaches on Polish Hill, you can see the candles flickering in the windows of the faithful houses. You also see many people streaming into the Immaculate Heart of Mary Church for the traditional midnight mass, a midnight mass that means more this year because of the martial law in Poland. About 75 people gathered for the brief services in remembrance of the 8 men who gave their lives 2 years ago today. Ex-hostage Colonel Leland Holland said that mission was something that had to be tried.
After waiting nearly a decade, Vietnam veterans are being welcomed home today. On Constitution Avenue in Washington, D.C., I'm Jeff Gilbert, WEEP News. This is the largest parade in Washington.
From ABC News, I'm Joe Templeton, and this is World News This Morning. It's Friday, November 19th, 1982. Good morning. First, it was workers in the auto industry. More now from Jeff Gilbert of information affiliate WEEP in Pittsburgh.
Published reports say the 600 local presidents will be voting on a 45-month, $1.50 an hour pay cut.
Hi, everybody. Fred Manfra with World of Sports. Play in the National League began today. The Cards playing the Pirates in Pittsburgh this afternoon. Jeff Gilbert on hand for that one.
The Cardinals managed to load the bases in the fourth, but John Candelaria was able to race.
Jackie Judd, CBS News.
KQB News Time is 3:06. Good afternoon. This is Saturday, November 5th. I'm Kevin Roberts. Pittsburgh's weather calls for a continued cold day today with off and on snow flurries mixed with rain, and tonight mostly cloudy, low in the low to mid-30s. Sunday becoming sunny, warmer, high in the mid-50s. Currently 42 degrees at Greater Pittsburgh International Airport, 46 downtown.
Captain Scott from Mutton to Jaybird, KMJ News 58.
KMJ News Time 5:08. Here's Jeff Gilbert.
The 101st Big Fresno Fair is now officially off and running.
Get your orders here. Daily double today.
The horses are among the biggest draw at the annual fair. You're always going to find those who are willing to help you with your pick, too, for a fee. Of course, animal observation is not limited to betting. You can spot some pretty prime beef at the fairgrounds, but watch out, you just might get clipped.
Ad multos annos, viva il Papa.
Good morning. I'm Jeff Gilbert, WCXI News. Archbishop Edmund Shaka has welcomed Pope John Paul to Detroit, a welcome the Pope was happy to respond to.
In the name of the Father, of the Son, of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Peace be with you.
The Pope was greeted warmly at what he called the Mother Church of the Archdiocese of Detroit. John Paul spent about an hour at the Blessed Sacrament Cathedral last night. The service was delayed, though, as he slowly went through the crowd, talking personally to many of the 1,500 in attendance, handing out both greetings and blessings, and later telling the bishops and their invited guests of their special opportunities.
Dear brothers and sisters,
the members of the various police agencies are slowly combing through what's left of the wreckage, putting personal belongings into oversized paper bags. Those belongings litter the east side of Middle Belt Road. There are suitcases, shoes, and everything just scattered all over the road. In fact, you can see where the plane impacted on the side of the hill, the east side of the hill, scorching the grass. A billboard is now only a charred reminder of what it once was. There are some small pieces of the wreckage scattered here. What looks like part of an instrument panel is clearly visible.
This is a WCXI Assignment 89 special, Detroit's Arms Race.
You need a gun to walk the streets nowadays. Like I said, which will protect you best, 911 or a 38? We cannot get police protection in this city.
All right, listen up. You have the right to remain silent.
I relate the gun situation directly to the drug situation. And the drug situation in this country is out of control.
Freeze right there! All news all the time. News Radio 95. WWJ.
And just a few blocks away, the flames were crackling just off of Interstate 94. 3 occupied houses burned, wiping out 22-year-old Linda Manns.
I got to start from scratch. Now, I don't have nothing but the clothes on my back.
Flares on.
Police are generally able to see pretty quickly whether or not you're wearing your seatbelt.
There's a kid without his on now. Let's just turn around on him and say hi.
As Novi Police Sergeant Terry Whitfield showed me while we drove.
One fan told me this is the most excitement he's seen here on the field at Comerica Park. Couple of hundred kids and their parents, sleeping bags laid out all around the outfield.
Dr. Kevorkian is sitting in the courtroom. He's wearing that same white windbreaker that he has been wearing really throughout the proceedings. Earlier today, he walked in roughly 15 minutes ago looking very relaxed.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Jack Kevorkian, not guilty of assisting suicide.
Okay, don't, please. Okay.
No reaction from Dr. Kevorkian, just basically shaking his head.
News Radio 950's Jeff Gilbert's in northwest Indiana this morning at the scene of that tragic commuter plane crash that's left all 68 people on board dead. It was nearing Chicago, and suddenly, Jeff, the word we have is the plane just dived into the ground during a windstorm.
Yeah, witnesses, Joe, say that it hit the ground at about a 45-degree angle. The crash site itself, I'm there, covers a square mile.
The Marine Band plays Hail to the Chief, and the 21-gun salute echoes across the west lawn of the U.S. Capitol, where hundreds of thousands of people have just heard William Jefferson Clinton take the oath of office and become the 42nd President of the United States. People are standing.
Well, the Michigan residents in Atlanta for the Olympics say they're not going to allow terrorism to spoil their trip. WWJ's Jeff Gilbert is in Atlanta and joins us now with this live update. Jeff?
Centennial Park is closed today. It will reopen tomorrow morning.
Well, Greg, despite the bombing, Olympics fans are eager to head back to Centennial Olympic Park.
Airplane just hit the World Trade Center and started the fire on the wing side, both sides of the wing.
I'm on a mountaintop in a very remote area of western Pennsylvania where this flight went down. And FBI Special Agent Jeff Killeen says they're really just beginning this whole process.
We're treating this as a crime scene.
I'm looking at the Pentagon right now. I'm looking at one side of this 5-sided building, right in the middle of this side. All 5 floors have collapsed one on top of each other, and about 100, 200 yards on either side of this, there are singe marks outside the window. As I look down New York 6th Avenue, I see nothing but smoke where the World Trade Center once stood. What Patrick Dolan saw there was a war zone. The construction workers spent all night volunteering, trying to find somebody alive in the debris.
We're just removing debris from the Trade Center. Just everybody was all in there together and just pulling every piece that we can get out of there.
The past half hour, I've been walking through some streets that some are cordoned off, some aren't, and what I'm seeing is incredible. I see a number of cars, police cars, Port Authority transit cars, news vehicles, private vehicles, totally crushed.
It is a hell. After life, we're here. We live hell. This is hell.
Get into a cab here in Shanghai and leave all hope behind.
Don't look outside.
That's my host saying, don't look outside. Don't look for a seatbelt either. There isn't one. Airbag? You're lucky you have air with the lingering smell of cigarette smoke in this vehicle. Then there's the driving. Use of horn is mandatory, but stoplights appear to be optional. CBS News, I'm Jeff Gilbert outside General Motors' big Cadillac plant in Detroit. General Motors workers within the hour walking out and driving out of this plant and many others across the country. This strike occurring more than a week after the first deadline.
These people come to work every day, work hard on that assembly line. The executives get all the big bonuses, but we don't get anything.
Carol Garcia has worked for GM for 30 years, Willie Brown for 38. He didn't expect a strike.
Not really, but we got to do what we got to do in order to support our leaders.
Healthcare, work rules, and job security are the big issues. GM says it has to get its costs in line with foreign competitors.
This is the KNX Business Hour.
Joining us now from Detroit, Jeff Gilbert from our great CBS sister station WWJ in Detroit. Jeff, what's causing this meltdown in Motown today?
Concerned about where the auto industry is going to go.
Jeff Gilbert is CBS's auto industry analyst, joins us from Detroit. He's a regular on KMOX. Hi, Jeff. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, but I don't have any stock in any major auto company.
From KYW 1060 Philadelphia, the Delaware Valley's news authority. This is Reporters Roundup.
Joining us on Reporters Roundup Live, our correspondent from Detroit, Jeff Gilbert. Jeff, good to have you on Roundup. Some figures just out from Ford, and they are not good at all.
No, Ford sales are down about 28% from last year. That's about where they were expected to be. And we got Ron Gettelfinger with us right now. So, Ron, what's the bottom line from this press conference?
Well, right now, what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to go out to the airport tomorrow morning, bright and early, and head to Washington, D.C.
Looking forward to the discussion. Ford CEO Alan Mulally racing into this Senate office building after he pulled up in his Escape hybrid. GM CEO Rick Wagner arriving in a prototype of the Chevy Volt electric car.
I think it's very important for the U.S. to have a home team in this global auto industry. We're going to be changing technologies like the one you see here, and it would be a shame for the U.S. to fall out of that race.
Wagner saying he believes he can make a convincing case to Congress that the auto industry is changing, and at this point he says he doesn't even want to think about bankruptcy. CBS News. I'm Jeff Gilbert in Detroit, where there is a general sense of shock at the Obama administration's rejection of the GM and Chrysler viability plans and the government-forced ouster of GM CEO Rick Wagner.
He's been made a scapegoat in many cases by people looking for somebody to blame for GM's current malaise, and it's not entirely, I think, a fair assessment on that point.
IHS Global Insight analyst Aaron Bragman. GM under new CEO Fritz Henderson has 60 days to make even deeper cuts. Chrysler has 30 days to show it can team up with Fiat. If not, this city faces the prospect of seeing a major automaker forced into bankruptcy. I'm Jeff Gilbert in Detroit.
And I'm Peter Mayer live.
And I am Autobeat reporter Jeff Gilbert in New York, back in our Southfield studios, helping us out this evening. CBS News. I'm Jeff Gilbert at GM's Vehicle Engineering Center in Warren, Michigan, where, among other things, the company's engineers make decisions about recalls. At this hour, GM CEO Mary Barra is starting a town hall meeting explaining how the... With much higher fuel prices here in Europe, don't expect to see Navigators and Escalades on the streets of Paris. An Escape, or Kuga here in Europe, is about the biggest utility, and they go down in size from there.
I think it's been fascinating to watch.
Ford's display here in Frankfurt will be heavier on utilities and commercial vehicles, lighter on passenger cars. Ford president of automotive Joe Henricks says a lot of the cuts that Ford is making globally are being made here in Europe.
We're closing or selling 6 plants across the continent.
I'm WWJ Autobeat reporter Jeff Gilbert at CES in Las Vegas. Fiat Chrysler's here with some electrified Jeeps at a concept that shows some options for new displays in vehicles. It's not every day you get to play in a 720 horsepower Ford F-150 Raptor R, going fast on a dry lake bed, climbing and getting stuck in dunes, leaving a cactus or two in the dust.
But as someone coming into the Raptor for the first time, Jeff, you should have felt real comfortable.
GM officially announcing it'll build ventilators with Vintech Life Systems at a GM parts plant in Kokomo, Indiana. They'll also work with Vintech to increase production at one of Vintech's facilities in Washington State.
Breaking news now on WWJ.
And we are continuing to follow breaking news in the WWJ newsroom this morning. From California to Michigan, UAW President Shawn Fain announced that 38 General Motors and Stellantis locations across the country will join strikes against Detroit's Big Three. WWJ's Jeff Gilbert joining us live with the latest details. Jeff.
And, Jackie, this takes it directly to the consumer. They are targeting parts. The president spending about 15 minutes outside the GM Willow Run Parts Distribution Center on Ecorse Road in Belleville. He spoke briefly through a bullhorn. It's a little hard to hear, but we have amplified it.
You guys, UAW, you saved your...
Jeff Gilbert, CBS News.
News, Detroit. Jeff Gilbert, CBS News, New York. Jeff Gilbert, CBS News, Beijing. Jeff Gilbert, CBS News, Washington. Jeff Gilbert, CBS News, Paris. Jeff Gilbert, CBS News, Tustin, California. Jeff Gilbert, CBS News, Chicago. Jeff Gilbert, CBS News, Frankfurt. Jeff Gilbert, CBS News, Las Vegas. Jeff Gilbert, CBS News, Shanghai. Jeff Gilbert, CBS News, Los Angeles.